Welcome to the Creative Me podcast, coming to you from Guernsey in the Channel Islands. This episode is kindly sponsored by Freedom, the app that helps you block distracting websites and get more done. It's Martine here. Thank you so much for joining me. Welcome to the Creative Me podcast. Today's episode is a follow-up to episode 4, which was called Appmazeballs. And in that episode, I talked a bit about some of the apps on my mobile device that I use most often. Today, I'm going to talk to you about desktop apps I use on a regular basis. Now, when I say desktop apps, this doesn't mean they are solely desktop apps. Invariably, they'll have an iOS or an Android or other platform mobile device type app associated as well, but I've categorized these as desktop apps because I tend to use them most when I'm working at my desktop. So I'm going to share my 5 current favourite apps that I use while I'm working at my Mac. Before I do, just a quick update on all things MeBox. The MeBox Taster product seems to have been really well received. In case you missed it in the last episode, you can now get your hands on a little bit of a taste of the MeBox experience all month round. So for half the price of a full-size MeBox, you can receive at any point in the month an A5 envelope stuffed with some lovely MeBox stationery goodies from previous boxes, just to give you a bit of an idea of the quality and the design and that sort of thing. A MeBox Taster costs £7.50, and as I said, they're available all month round. You can order anytime. Just hop over to martinellis.com/me-box-taster. Okay, that's the plug out the way. Let's talk about apps. I think I've alluded to this in previous episodes, but I have quite a short attention span and I'm very easily distracted. And one of the things that distracts me on a regular basis, aside from social media, which incidentally I deal with using Freedom. I've mentioned Freedom in the past and will link to it in the show notes. But one of the ways I get distracted is just through content. I might spot a really interesting article and want to read it there and then. I might get a link emailed to me to an article and I just want to get on and have a look. I might spot a video on YouTube. Any kind of content generated via the internet can be a massive distraction to me. And what I've started doing recently is making good use of an app called Pocket. Pocket is a freemium app. I'm using the free version at the moment. I've got it on my desktop. There's a web-based version and a variety of mobile device type versions of the app as well. And in a nutshell, it allows you to save things that you plan to read or watch or listen to and kind of mark them as read for later. That's how I would describe it. So what you end up doing is pulling together all of the things that might distract you and putting them in one place. You can tag them so you can find things more easily and then tick them off when you've read them. Or indeed you can share them on social media too, which is great if you find something really good. So Pocket it's a bit like Instapaper. You might have come across Instapaper. Pocket is my preference. You can pretty much send anything to Pocket to read later, and I think it's a fantastic productivity tool. What it means for me is that I timetable a slot during the day for me to go through all of the stuff in my Pocket. Not in my actual Pocket, in my Pocket app. I don't know why I found that so amusing. That's embarrassing. I wish I edited this podcast a bit more. So yeah, Pocket is definitely helping me be more productive, and highly recommended app. Check it out. I'll put a link in the show notes. Next up, we've got the Noun Project. A while ago, I created a video about the Noun Project, so I'll make sure that that's linked to in the show notes as well. But the Noun Project is a resource for locating every type of icon, as in a design icon, that you could ever want. I mean, it's a massive, massive resource. And again, it's a freemium product. So if you use some of the icons from the Noun Project and you haven't paid for membership, so you're not a Noun Project Pro member, I'm not quite sure if that is what they call it, but you get what I mean. You have to cite the source, cite the name of the designer, so make it very clear that the icon you've used isn't designed by you. But if you pay for membership to the Noun Project, then you have unlimited use of all of the icons that they provide. Now, I have found being able to access very simple icons in different styles and things incredibly useful with my design hat on. So if you do any form of arty stuff, design stuff, if you have a blog, a website, do check out the Noun Project, because I think they've got some really interesting things going on. Incidentally, the people behind the Noun Project have fairly recently launched a new product called Lingo, which is something that helps you organise all of your creative assets, your Photoshop files, textures, brushes, all that sort of stuff. And if you're a designer, it's definitely worth checking it out. That's Lingo. Next up, we have Slack. I am really late to the party when it comes to Slack. Slack is a team communication product platform. And again, there's a freemium model. I'm using the free version currently. I always thought Slack wasn't for me because I work on my own, with my small business hat on. I'm not a team, I'm just me. But of course, I collaborate with lots of different people. And what I've started to realise is that Slack is quite a useful tool for collaboration, particularly because I'm in Guernsey and the people I collaborate with tend to be in the UK or further afield, and it's really great for real-time notifications, live chat, sharing documents. It integrates beautifully with Google Drive, which is great because I use Google products a lot. And it's just got a really fun, easy-to-use interface. It's not meant to be entirely a replacement for email, because there are always going to be some people in the world who aren't on Slack, clearly. Email's still very much got a place, but when you're collaborating and you just want to bash out some ideas and chat about things, and for whatever reason, FaceTime or Skype aren't the right options for you, then Slack is a really cool tool. And the people who designed it clearly have thought a lot about how the user experience should be. It's genuinely fun to use, and clearly the designers have a bit of a quirky sense of humour, and I like that too. So if you collaborate with people, or if you have a small team, or indeed if you have a massive team, Slack is definitely worth investigating. With my day job hat on, I'm a lecturer at a local college, I'm piloting Slack and hoping to introduce it to the college, because I think it could be a great way to stop using email as badly as we do. I mean, we email about everything. So have a look at Slack. It's worth a try. Number 4 on my list is a bit of a funny one. The app is called Community, and it's highly likely you've not heard of it because it relates to a very specific business community. I'd like to suggest you check out a website called Seanwes.com. Seanwes is Sean McCabe, and he's an entrepreneur who runs a podcast network and also offers some really good high quality courses and just loads and loads of free content aimed at creative business people. And he really knows his stuff. And he's got a premium membership community, which is going through some very exciting changes at the moment. And I'm part of that community. So the app that I'm talking about it kind of gives me access to the live chat element of the community. So I'm not necessarily saying you need this app instantly. What I'm suggesting is you check out Seanwes.com, have a listen to some of the podcasts, read some of the blog posts, and get a sense for what these guys do. And then at some point you may feel joining the community is a good thing for you. It's an investment, but I've certainly found it incredibly valuable. So that is a desktop app I am using a lot at the moment. And finally, let me tell you about Inbox for Gmail. It kind of does what it says on the tin. It's a different interface for Gmail. It does some really cool things. For example, it bundles together certain types of email. Things like purchases, travel arrangements, meetings, they all get bundled up. So it really helps you go through your emails in a more efficient way, because it's kind of like with like, if you see what I mean. Certain types of emails, for example, those with photographs attached, you don't even have to open them. You can just browse without opening the email. You can look at all of the attachments. Also, meeting requests, you don't have to open them. There's just a yes, no, maybe option presented to you straight away. Find that really useful. When you've dealt with an email, you just swipe it to one side to mark it as done, which is great. And what you can also do is snooze emails to get them out of your inbox. So it's more, you're heading towards inbox 0, which is fantastic, and get them to pop back up at a more appropriate time. It does a lot more things than that, but that's just a very brief overview. It's a cracking product. There is just one downside, and I'm really hoping it'll be solved in the next update, and that is it doesn't support multiple inboxes particularly well. So you can swap between two, but rather than swapping within the app, it takes you to the web-based version of Inbox for Gmail, which is fine, but it's a bit clunky, and they definitely need to improve that soon. That aside, I think it's got the potential to be a really great app, and as well as being on your desktop, it's available on all your devices too. So, a thumbs up on Inbox for Gmail, but they do need to get that multiple inbox support thing sorted. I think there's a bit of a special offer on it at the moment, and looking in the App Store, it's £2.99 currently. Not sure what the dollar equivalent is, but if you're going to give it a try, now would be a really good time. So check it out. Okay, that's about it from me for today. Thank you ever so much for tuning in. As you can hear, I'm a bit of an app girl, so I suspect there will be more of this sort of episode in the future. On the subject of episodes, if there is anything in particular you would like me to talk about, any questions you'd like me to answer on the podcast, then please don't hesitate to get in touch. Find me on social media. All of my links are on martinellis.com, or send me an email, martin@martinellis.com. Also, if you are keen to share the Creative Me podcast love, as it were, on social media, I'm going to start using the hashtag CreativeMePod. I know it's a bit long, but I couldn't quite think of anything else that sort of fitted. So hashtag CreativeMePod if you want to share the podcast love. Oh, also, you could leave me a positive review on iTunes if you wanted to. Only if you want to. Right. I really do think that's it from me. I am actually going now. Thanks again for tuning in, and I hope you'll join me in the next episode, which will be episode number 9. Thanks again. Cheerio.